Thank you, Cardinal Turkson, and good morning, and welcome everybody to this summit. We will discuss in this today and tomorrow important. Let me just draw your attention to a few considerations. Today, slavery and colonial practices are outlawed in every country. Yet, more people are enslaved today than when the slavery was legal. The millions of people who are exploited, abused, denied rights have not changed. They are silent victims of a toxic economy driven by a global thirst for cheap goods and services. More than 40 million people are currently enslaved, according to the last estimates in this area. These are forgotten persons. It is hard to deny the moral imperative for businesses to take the lead in fighting this shameful global crime. Needless to say, also new legislation is urgently required. A big reason is that while the protection of workers' rights remains mainly organized on a national basis, capital is fully globalized. It is this asymmetry that has generated a new perverse form of competition, a competition between free or workers' rights on a world scale. And this is something which is, as I said, urgently required. The colonial era still heavily influences African and Latin American societies and their economies. Western countries must move beyond offering pity and remorse. Two fundamental measures, in my opinion, deserve high priority in the agenda of advanced countries if they really desire to combat the new forms of slave trade. The first one concerns the abolishment of the so-called triangular trade, which is a bit technical escamotage used in economic language to denote a way that operating via supply chains forms of enslaving still exist. The second measure has to do with the reviving appropriate technology. Today, export-oriented industrialization no longer works the same way as in the past. Manufacturing technologies have become increasingly skill-intensive, and automation has reduced labor shares of value added. This is bad news for developing countries, since their comparative advantage lies in labor-intensive goods. Too many economies in transition have been hit by premature industrialization, and that is a major responsibility of the Western world. The implication seems clear. Bending the arc of technology to society needs rather than expecting society to adjust to technology's demand. This is, I remember, in paragraph number 62 of Gaudium et Spes, is a statement which we can find already there. In view of the above, one understands why engaging in big businesses is a necessary step in the efforts to crush modern slavery. It is known that the systematic violation of human rights is associated to the action of about 70,000 multinational corporations operating at the world level. These have been able to create their own commercial code, as we know. The guiding principles prepared by the Ruggie Commission on behalf of the United Nations and approved in the summer of 2011 by the United Nations needs to be seriously revised if the aim is that of effectively implementing the project of social corporate responsibility. To conclude, the present workshop, which is just about to start, aims at throwing new light on the sad phenomenon of neocolonialism. We are all aware of the challenges of our times, and we know that there are no easy answers. But we also know that the sense of possibility depends not only on opportunities and resources, but also on hope. Those with no hope in the future have only the present, and those who have only the present have no compelling reason to be interested in the future. Fortunately, people who entertain a hope in the future have not disappeared altogether, as all those participating to this important meeting are concretely demonstrating. Thank you very much for your attention.